Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about network technicians. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, Frederick, do you have any thoughts about network technicians and their role in IT? I would love a video about this. Well, I don't really have much to say about network technicians because, I mean, the root question here it was a little bit of a description actually. I'm actually just going to read the thing out. Uh, let's see here now. All right, so it was posted on a video that I made about the different requirements and experience levels for developers. And the question was, holy shit! I last tracked when I became a subscriber to your channel, and seriously, Frederick, your channel has become a daily ritual. It is like this shit is so real, mate. Yeah, I swear this is what it says. Someone that loves programming, I find it hard now to keep up because I have a new job and a new role and responsibilities that take me so far away from programming. The new job is as a network technician. Do you have thoughts about network technicians and their role within IT? I would love a video about this. And my literal, like the thing that I wrote back is, I'm actually, and this is actually true, I am right now studying up on my on networking, like just general networking, and going through the, I think it's called like CCNA or something like that. It's a Cisco education something something. I'm not a specialist, or like I'm really bad at this sort of stuff, guys. I don't know about the different certifications in this area, but something like that. Since I'm not a professional, I can't really comment on the role. From the perspective of a developer, having a good understanding of networking is extremely useful once you have the core skills. So that's what I wrote back. And the reason why I wanted to take this as a video is because I wanted to touch on something. Like, I'll give you, of course, my thoughts on what network. I mean, being a network engineer or someone who does networking, you have a role to play in IT, of course, because there's quite a lot of different larger companies that require someone with extensive knowledge in this area. But you can also, of course, figure that quite a lot of companies have, I mean, there's quite a lot of need for just regular normal people to set up their home networks and Wi-Fi's and like all of this sort of stuff that where you might find that you're, as a network specialist or a network engineer, traveling around and setting this sort of stuff up for people who don't really know all that much about it. But if in the context of, for us developers, if we talk, because this is the thing, the role of a network a network engineer and a software developer, they are vastly different. We don't even work together. Like, most of the time we're never going to see each other because we basically don't work in the same area of IT. So that's why I can't really comment. I've never actually worked with someone who does this as a full-time thing as part of any company. But what I want to mention though is the thing that I said, that because it is true, I'm actually studying this myself and I'm trying to learn as much as I can about it. And the reason why I do that is because this is very useful information for a developer to have. And I also told this person that I started doing this once I had the core skills. And that's something that I want to address a little bit here, because I get a lot of questions regarding, all right, Frederick, I've learned my first programming language. Should I learn about all of these other things, and should I learn about all of these other these things over here as well, to just broaden my perspective as much as possible, or to get as good as possible as quickly as possible? And this is an example of a skill, like knowing how, having a really in-depth understanding of how to work with networks and DNS and routing and DNS records, all of that stuff. This, guys, is this is the plumbing of how the internet works. This is how all of these, like the entire information age, is based on this knowledge. However, for you as a software developer, it should not be the first thing you dive into. I would even go as far as to say it shouldn't be the second, or maybe not even the third thing that you dive into, because I like to suggest, and this is of course just me, that it's better for you to focus on the things that are going to give you the biggest return on investment for the job that you want to do. Because there is this idea in for some people that you have to have a bottoms up approach to learning, and that's just not true. Because if you have the perspective that you need to understand every detail of everything that you do, regardless of how big the area that you need to touch is, then you would never be able to become a software developer. It is a complete lie that every developer knows exactly how networks all fit together and how DNS lookups work and servers and like all of this stuff. It is a lie. There is no developer on this planet that knows everything that is related to the thing that they do, because it's so complicated and so massive and so many parts. Like most developers have an understanding of what this thing is, but how it actually works, and the in-depth knowledge, especially such as a network professional or a networking engineer has, you don't have that, because it's an entire job in of itself to learn that. So the thing that you should focus on is to get the core skills that are relevant to what you are doing. And once you have those core skills and you really know your area of like your responsibility, because there is this, I like to say that there is a cutoff point to everything we do. It doesn't matter what it is, and there is no real reason for you to go beyond that. As an example, if I'm going to teach you how to make fire, I don't have to teach you physics and how friction works and how like Pascal's. I don't have to go and teach you the science behind how we produce heat and then get fire. I have to teach you how to rub two sticks together, or I have to teach you how to use a lighter. That's what I need to teach you. The same thing is true here. If I'm going to teach you how to be a software developer, even though you will work with networks every single day and you're going to work with URLs and DNS and all that stuff, you just need to have a basic understanding of what that means, and then focus and go more in depth on the things that are much more related to the stuff that you need to know. And on the flip side, a networking engineer might need to know what a server is and things like that, but they don't need to know how to write the actual code that does all the stuff that that server is going to take care of. They need to know how to set up an infrastructure, how to work with routers, how to do all of these sorts of things, which is part of their daily job. But once you get to a point where this is kind of boring now, or it's like you kind of know it, you don't really have much more that is a surprise to you or it's new to you within the most direct relevant skills that you need for your daily job, then it's time, at least if you ask me. Well, you can of course ignore it as well, because now you already know everything you need, but now it's time to go out to this, like if you think of that as the center of the whole thing, then you expand outwards and you create a new ring of skills that you want to add on top. So it becomes like an onion thing. You start with the core and then you add layers and layers and layers of knowledge, and you can expand outwards until you get a really, really good and solid understanding of, well, practically everything. I mean, the thing is gonna, the knowledge onion, if we can call it that, is gonna stop when you understand the entire universe if you continue for long enough. But I'm pretty sure at some point you're going to find a layer where, yeah, I think I've learned everything that I'm actually interested in, and now I can stop. So what I want you to take away from this is that I believe that it's very useful for you as a software developer to have a long-term holistic thinking about the profession that you are part of. As an example, I will never have to be a master networking engineer. I don't need to see a CCNA or like a certificate or anything like that. But understanding how all of this works, it will actually help me quite a lot when I do work that is related to operations and DevOps and so forth. It will solidify and solidify my understanding of what it is that I do, so that I don't just know the, how do I put this? You can think of it as maturing your understanding of the things that you do. Most people learn how, as an example, you yourself, you are a software developer. Most people know how to use a web page, but you actually know how it works underneath. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I know how a URL works, But a networks technician knows actually how the OSI model works and like how things actually move between the different computers on the network. That's a deeper understanding of that concept, if that makes sense. And I think that it's very healthy for you to think in these terms and actually broadening your perspective once you have the core of your knowledge onion or whatever we call it. So start by getting those foundation skills down and become a professional, and then you can start adding layers of understanding and like broadening your perspective. Have a great day.